I really hope you guys get funded and do partnerships. And this is, we're here for the next 10, 20 years. So this is just a warm-up, for us at least. We're gonna have a turn now into the feminine. Sarah Drew is the author of a very important book for women around the world, not only for women, but it's about the feminine, the GAIA CODEX. She's the author of that. And she's also a feminist, ecologist. I will let Sarah explain herself, but she's a dear friend. She's, I would say, embodied modern goddess. And we had her last year, and there was a line of women here for you. So, and you have a circle just after, but I'll let you speak now. But I'm so happy you came back again. Very important for us. Thank you so much, Sarah.
I'm so happy to be here.
Wow. So wonderful to be here. I'm so inspired, probably like you guys over the last couple of days. Such an amazing cross-pollination of ideas and just this regeneration and birth of the world that's coming forth from us. Amokogyo Shayamaye Mama Om Gaia Om Gaia Om Gaia. What is it to consciously, compassionately, and creatively interact in the evolution of a world, a reality? What is it to viscerally understand that we are symbiotically intertwined and a part of life, a thread in the web of an ever-expanding consciousness? I want us to sit with both of these questions, not only as an intellectual exercise, but as a sentient experience, a meditation, a presence. When we come to our breath, we return to the golden thread of vital exchange, carbon for oxygen, the place where inside and outside are symbiotic and the veils of separation dissolve. We humans are part of a vital intelligence, the 4.5 billion year expression of living wisdom, matter, mother, earth. This place where we are fortunate when inspired, we experience the fusion of material and spirit, that place where we're in a deep state of deep interconnectedness, not only in material composition and processes, but in the mysterious web of creation and consciousness that is said to connect all things. We humans are each composed of 6.5 octillion atoms, atoms which have the potentially been compositional elements of dinosaurs and stars, redwood trees, mountains, and humans, Buddha, Jesus, Hildegard von Bingen, and the first IBM computer. We are connected in 3.39 trillion microbial cells, which make up each of our bodies. Curiously, 99% of the unique genes in our physical body are bacterial. Only about 1% is uniquely human. We are interconnected in the very processes of our day-to-day life. As we take breath and elemental sustenance of food and water, we are in the constant process of transposition, incrementally but every moment, changing from birth to death until our bodies return, once more into the loamy earth. Within this, we are connected. We are part of the living, breathing, physical form of Gaia, and we are part of the spiritual dreaming of Mother Earth that brings matter into form. I want to say that last part again. We are part of and a collaborator with the spiritual dreaming of Gaia that brings matter into form. What is the pattern that connects the crab to the lobster and the primrose to the orchid, and all of them to me and to you? That's from Gregory Bateson, 20th century anthropologist and cyberneticist. This indeed is the question. What is the thread of connection and unique relationship with all sentient life that runs through all sentient life? Within this, what defines us as human? And what is it to be human in relationship to the emergent AI and artificial intelligence? There's one line of thought that's from James Lovelock, who is a 20th century scientist and environmentalist, called the Gaia hypothesis. Probably many of you have heard of that. Is that we humans, indeed all sentient life and systematic processes, are all simply manifestations of this living organism, Gaia. We are expressed, we live, and then we are absorbed back into the Mother Earth herself in her synergistic, self-regulating complex system. She's a living, breathing entity. Homo sapiens have only been here approximately 300,000 years in a 4.5 billion year history of Earth. So we've been here for a blimp in time in terms of evolutionary process. So what does that mean as we sit at this powerful evolutionary juncture when AI is rapidly becoming a part of our lives, as it becomes a means by how we understand and shape culture? Is AI simply a part of the stream of Mother Earth's 4.5 billion years of expression? Is it consciousness expressing itself in yet another form? Is it an uncompromising mind mirror of who we are as human beings at this historical moment? Is it a brilliant teaching tool, a gift for our collective evolution? Indeed, what is it to be sentient? Let's take a deeper look at sentience. The word etymologically has had a shifting definition. Sentience, the word was first coined in the West by philosophers in the 1630s, and it means the concept and ability to feel. In different Asian religions, the word sentience expands to include all living beings as expressions of Maya's illusion. In Mahayana Buddhism, and within the Bodhisattva vow, we are asked to achieve Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings, all expressions of life. All this said, sentience has become part of the common parlance, in particular as we consider AI and other species. And I find this exciting as we begin to cultivate trans-species communication, empathy, and awareness. It expands our horizons and cultivates our real connections between species, potential species, and all life. What happens when we expand beyond our human silo, when we start to understand that our world and reality through the eyes, the sensorium, the perceptual lenses of other forms of life? Every species has an area of specialization we can learn from. What happens when we experience time is experienced by a 1,000-year-old redwood tree, and we find our path through the forest by chemical secretions like a colony of ants, or chart our course across the seas like dolphins and whales? What happens when we have our view through the multi-lens compound eye of a dragonfly? And what happens when we relax into and remember that part of our own consciousness, our own human intellectual capacity, where we're able to fluidly and rapidly assimilate and synthesize information, not unlike current forms of AI? Now, technically, most people are not calling AI sentient, but where does sentience actually live? Is it in a dynamic network like the Pando, the 80,000-year-old colony of quaking aspen in Utah, considered to be one of the world's oldest living organisms? Does sentience live in the dynamic neural networks that currently carry information around the globe and are the substrata of AI? We humans are able to absorb and mimic many forms of life, and yet we're not omniscient. And I feel our current civilization is stunted by defining ourselves as only anthropocentric, as only humans. And by somehow cultivating the dogma that we humans are at the apex of all sentient life. So we're here at this moment when we must cultivate the wisdom of our collective intelligence and other species with our empathetic understanding and learning from each other. Collective intelligence is like a diamond of many facets, where we are all part of the whole, and yet we perceive a slightly different view of the mysteries of reality. Our cultivation of collective intelligence is an entryway into our own multidimensional intelligence, which I feel is so important for us to cultivate at this time. Different cultures have given us numerous metaphors and teaching tools for deepening into multidimensional intelligence. For me, Mahadeva, the Lalita Sahasrara, the 1,000 Names of the Goddess, is one of those wonderful tools and technologies. In this tradition, there's multiple aspects and archetypes of the goddess that you work with, study with, and embody. And they can range from she of the beautiful breast to she who holds the cosmos in the belly of her womb. And again, this is a devotional tool, a teaching tool, and a way of understanding our empathetic extension into other forms, into other ways of life. Multidimensional empathy and intelligence is also analogous with the metaphor of Gaia that we've been using here today in this talk, when we're talking that we human beings are just one of many expressions of this living organism of Mother Earth. Now, so back to AI, because I know some of you are waiting since it's in the title of the talk. What does AI mean for the development and evolution of human beings at this point, and the cultural evolution and revolution that we're going through? Over the last days, we've been hearing many different views, and it's a dynamic space. And that's actually part of the creative process that we're in. So we humans are at this precipice of conscious evolution. Indeed, we are deep in the epicenter of conscious evolution. For we are no longer living harmoniously with our Mother Earth. So how do we facilitate that? How do we break our cultural and personal entrainments, samskaras as they're called in Sanskrit? I sense that AI itself is actually, at this point, neutral. Instead, it's how we give it meaning, the current heuristics we're applying to understanding it, and our consciousness will shape what it becomes. Our consciousness will shape what AI becomes. I do not think we want to glamorize it or become mesmerized by it, but neither should we project our fears onto AI. The game and language of dominion over is not a long-term strategy for our human survival or survival of any species. Dominion immediately sets up a polarity that where there's a winner and a loser, which does not work with a systems theory of theory view of the world or one of interdependence, which I feel is our evolutionary edge. This should not be the approach to us understanding or building AI or building civilizations. In dominion over is opened such a Pandora's box of things to our point. And right now, so much of the AI conversation is humans versus AI, like it's a gladiator fight. Presented this way, it becomes an expression of our collective fears of death, of species extinction, fear of irrelevance, which is ironic since humans currently and tragically have been the cause of many species becoming extinct. The English 19th century naturalist Charles Darwin is known for the survival of the fittest, but he's also known for this quote: "It is in the long history of humankind, and animal kind too, those who have learned to collaborate and improvise like a jazz musician," that wasn't him, "most effectively have prevailed." So I feel this is where we're at with AI. We have the opportunity to learn from this creation, expression, perhaps eventual form of sentient life that is being born through us as creators, as midwives. Human beings are infinitely creative. It's one of our superpowers. Creation itself through life is infinite, and it will continue with or without us. Our creativity is not going to stop in the face of AI, and if we take a collaborative approach to let ourselves be consciously enhanced by some of the skill sets that AI is mirroring back to us, it could be an ally and a tool for our evolution at this point. I believe it could go many ways, but the most important key is how we cultivate our consciousness, our awakenedness. This is the key, the ground. I believe that what AI becomes and how it affects our human experience, culture, and copacetic survival as a species on the planet depends on where we are as a species at this never unfolding flower of conscious evolution. Conscious evolution does not begin or end with us. Have we humans served in Gaia's creation, or do we have more to give? Are we a compassionate species which is no longer at war amongst ourselves and within ourselves? Do we understand the causalities of our actions? Are we present to our essential interconnectedness? Are we dedicated, however imperfect, to the creating well-being for all sentient life? It's okay to rest in our imperfections, for it's within this that we have the ability to truly transform and to awake. So to close, I want to share a short reading from one of my favorite texts, which is the Mahayana Buddhist text, the Avatam Saka Sutra, the flower ornament scripture. There are numerous templates for many, many cultures of how we can model ourselves as we collectively flower into awakened consciousness. This is one of them. The term Buddha here in the Mahayana tradition is not one historical man in India, but a state of enlightenment, awakened, compassionate consciousness, which understands that both interconnectedness of all things and the essential emptiness of all things. A consciousness which, according to this tradition, has a potentiated seed that lies within every and each and all of us, every one of us and each one of us. In this tradition, the awakened state can happen over many lifetimes, or it can happen in the next breath. So here it goes. The Buddha is beyond gender, encompasses all genders, so I'm going to mix it up as I read. At the time, the Buddha, the world-honored one in this setting, attained to a supreme, correct awareness of all things. Her knowledge entered into all times with complete equanimity. His body filled all worlds, their voice universally accorded with all lands in the 10 directions. Like space which contains all forms, she made no discrimination amongst all objects. And as space extends everywhere, he entered all lands with equanimity. Her body forever sat omnipresent in all states of enlightenment. Amongst the host of enlightened beings, her awesome light shone clearly like the sun emerging, illuminating the world. The ocean of myriad virtues, which she practiced in all times, was thoroughly pure, and she constantly demonstrated the production of all Buddha lands. There are boundless forms and spheres of light extending through the entire cosmos equally and impartially. Each of her hair tips were able to contain all worlds without interference, in each manifesting immeasurable teachings and civilizing all sentient beings. Her body extended through the 10 directions, yet without coming and going. There were great enlightened beings numerous as atoms in the 10 Buddha worlds surrounding her. These Buddhas went willingly to all lands in which there were others, and always by the means of the vows of universal goodness and wisdom, they caused the wisdom being of all sentient beings, no matter what their form, to be fulfilled. That's all of us. So these are templates of aspiration that can be found in many cultures. And we're at this exciting time where we can really dig in and use the transcultural knowledge, the transtemporal knowledge that is here for us. So remembering that all is grounded in our compassionate action and care for each other, I want to conclude, we're at the precipice of a species evolution. Mother Earth, Mother Gaia will continue. Consciousness is evolving in infinite forms, will continue. Our question is tandem to what AI is. Who do we as human beings aspire to evolve to? AI is our mirror. Do we cultivate a compassionate, multidimensional consciousness that's here for the well-being of all sentient life, that is humble in its reverence to the Mother Earth and understanding that we are but one expression in 4.5 billion years plus of life? Will we remember that we are dreaming and co-creating this consciousness and expression of Mother Earth, and that we are an intricate part of her expression? So let's use these aspirational ideas as seeds as we're planning to create future generations and as we take our next breath. Thank you to all of you and the generosity of Paua always for this invitation. And it's wonderful to explore. We're in the great exploration right now. I'd love to hear more from each of you in the conversation as we nourish and create together. You can find me at www.gaiacodex.com, where you can read my book, The Gaia Codex, and the prequel to the Gaia Codex, and find out teachings and events and also more about the Gaia Codex feature film. And for those of you who'd like to continue the conversation in person, please join myself and the wonderful Jessica Hunley, who you got the chance to hear from yesterday. We're going to be doing a breakout circle session deep dive on dreaming of Gaia and the alchemy of creation. Thank you. I love you all.